All right, this is Thomas swimming 100 IM. This is before we gave any technique corrections or watched any videos. So what I'm seeing here is he's doing a great job of getting his hips up to the surface. He's got a very big, powerful kick. And we'll keep working on his head position and what his head does when he needs to breathe.
Moving on to this backstroke. Pretty good backstroke already to begin with. His feet are up at the surface. There are a few parts where they drop a little low, and as the day went on, we really tried to work on that. And you can see the shoulders, they're rotating, but there's some parts where they're not exiting the water, like right there. As the day went on, we really tried to get that shoulder to break the surface.
All right, so now we're going to move on to breaststroke. So nice long stride on the pull out. You can see that his hands are really diving down, and we talked about during the day of driving our hands forward and not down. And you can see that his legs are not snapping all the way too, and he's got to drive forward and get that head down and get his hands above his head.
And just hitting on that, we also worked on doing some one pull two kick drill, really emphasis on that glide on the breaststroke. Freestyle is pretty strong, but you can see right here when he takes a breath, right there, he kind of drops his hand down. And we really talked about surfing the hand on the freestyle breath, and he did a better job as the day went on.
All right, so this is his fly after we watched some videos and did some technique. So you can really see he's driving down, he's undulating, getting his hips really high and really snapping that kick. Really good job. You can see there was a definite adjustment and he really took that to heart. And he's really anchoring his hands and squeezing.
After watching the backstroke drill, we talked about good shoulder rotation and getting those feet up at the surface. And you can see here that shoulder is clearly breaking the surface of the water before he's getting that arm to come over and catch the water. His head is nice and still. Feet are right at the surface. All in all, a great backstroke.
All right, now moving on to breaststroke. We spent a lot of time talking about the pullout. He had a very nice squeeze and then got himself up to the surface. Now you can see his hips are popping up at the surface, which is what we talked about. He still's got to work on going forward and not diving down so much, but his hands are a lot higher and he's getting his head lower. So again, he made a good adjustment.
Moving on to freestyle, we worked on trying to surf that hand a little bit and really engage that high elbow catch. So you can see right now, when he's taking that breath now, he's really trying to surf that hand up. Right there, big improvement from where it was when he wanted to drop that hand down. And this is one of those things that's just going to take hours in the pool of practicing that to really make it catch and hang on.
All right, so here was 100 IM at the end, and we decided to do it from on top. So you can see he's got a good strong kick. He's trying to dive his head down. He's not leaving his hands out up front as much as he was before earlier, so he's definitely making some improvements.
Backstroke looking good. Look how nice and still his head is. Nice strong feet. I would recommend when you're swimming in swim practice to try to use your core a little bit more. You can see the core is a little disengaged, but it's still an improvement from where it was. And moving on to this back to breast transition, I'd like to see you attack the wall a little bit more and use your abs to pull your knees in. Look right there. Try to pull your knees in, get off the wall, get under the wave, and engage that underwater pull out.
So again, he got his hands nice and tight on the pull out. So again, we talked about getting his hands forward, and you can see they're going forward a little bit more. But if you watch his kick, they're coming together. They're a little bit disjointed a little bit there. So you got to make sure you snap them all the way together at the same time. But again, every time he did breaststroke, he made a better and better adjustment.
The freestyle right here, you can see we did a little drill of really working on flicking the wrist and working the rotation. Look at that kick. That's a strong kick at the end of a long day and a long stroke clinic. But the wrist flick right there is really helping him put him on the side. And you can see him surfing that hand right there. All in all, better. Keep it up, man. We look forward to seeing more out of you in the future.